Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. What really harms a covert narcissist? What really hurts them? What really gets them where it counts? The covert narcissist seeks to subtly abuse the targets, the people who they've pinpointed, the people who they've selected in their lives. They have decided to take advantage of them in some very sly ways, specifically remaining very aloof, remaining very passive, remaining very outside of really norms of interaction and norms of sort of support and affability, which means a friendliness. So the covert narcissist has some very sly ways of manipulating, and I discuss that quite a bit here on this channel. And it can be very frustrating and painful because oftentimes this isn't discovered. This type of narcissist presence in a life was usually thought to be one's best friend, one's closest ally, one's true confidant in life. In fact, a lot of people, their most significant relationships that they felt that they've ever had in their life were with a covert narcissist, because they felt this sort of bond where you could just give unceasingly to this person. You could be there, with you could just continue to give and give and give, and then a sense of satisfaction and completeness occurs, and you were really blind to the lack of support and direction and relationship and joy that you really were meant to have. So it can be a very long process where one has discovered this. So the depth, the hurt can go quite deep. So a lot of people wonder, well, how can I really harm them? Well, number one, you don't ever want to seek to harm people. But what really kind of stops the abuse, I think, is more the important question. So anytime you really harm a narcissist is when you withdraw yourself as a source of supply. It's basically standing up and saying, that's not me. I'm not wearing those shoes anymore. I'm no longer the one who's bending over backwards to try to take care of you, to please you, to appease you, to the denigration of myself, to the shutdown of my own personality, to the loss of my own personal pleasure, enjoyment, and satisfaction, and expanding my life. I'm no longer living cooped up like this anymore. So when you make that decision and you make that commitment, that's when you start to hurt the narcissist. When you are no longer there all the time, when you are no longer calling them daily, when you're no longer checking in on them after every single doctor appointment, you're no longer there to make every single meal, you're no longer there to ask how their day was, you're no longer there to coddle them. You're no longer there to try to make them feel good about themselves and fill in the void that was missing in their life. The way that you tried to help them find their interests and help them really take care of a lot of the things that they should have been responsible for in their life. They should have been able to make these decisions. They should have been able to provide for you in certain ways. They should have been able to handle certain situations that you ended up handling for them. Whether you had to step up at the plate for them, basically to fill in their inadequacies, you know what I'm talking about. Where you had to basically do the thinking for them. You had to be there in support of them. When really it was inappropriate for you to have to support them. They should have been autonomous on certain things, but you picked up the slack for them. You had to constantly think about them, and so your role became constantly managing their deficits, constantly managing their weaknesses, constantly helping to build them up, constantly helping to keep their eye on what was meaningful and important. And they just soaked it up, baby. They just soaked it up. And now you're realizing, you know what? I wasn't really getting this in return, was I? I really don't have a legacy for myself. I really don't have that same sort of support coming. That person was there, but they really didn't give me that guidance, that direction, that love that I needed. They didn't give me the attention, the accolades, and the credit that I really was. In fact, I've become invisible in the process. That realization And how you then harm the narcissist is you start withdrawing all that supply that I just mentioned, and you carry on with your life as if it never happened. You flip the switch, the lights are on, you are now a new person. You are now out scheduling yourself for events and activities. You are no longer available. You are no longer there to tote them around. You are now, changing up your life. You are now wearing a new set of shoes, a new set of identity. You are new all around. You have a new spark and a new flavor to your life. You are now going places that they never thought that you could go. And you're not doing it to show them up. You're not doing it because you're comparing yourself to them. You're no longer the inseparable unit there to support them. You have come out from underneath. You are now rising above. You are now pursuing your interests guilt-free. You are now unaffected, unabashed, with no holds barred, living your own life. And as they start to see that, they will continue to be thinking about you. They'll be thinking about you and thinking about you, wanting you to come back, continue those ways, those coddling ways, being supportive for them, always asking about their situation, always trying to build them up. No, you have let go of that role. You now have a new set of shoes. You have a new outlook. You have a new look about you. You have a new aura about you. You're smiling. You're no longer held down by guilt, toxic obligation. That whole fog is lifted. You have a spark. You have a new scent. You've just got some new perfume that you love. You have got a new book that you're reading. You have a new outing that you're going to by yourself. You are just taking life and you're plugging in your calendar. You've got it chock full with all sorts of fun stuff. It doesn't have to cost a lot. It's not like, hey honey, I'm liquidating the account. It's an absolute positive shift moving forward. It's a 100% shift. It's not a partial moving forward. You are absolutely moving forward and you're not looking back. They don't have one more speck that they can pull out of you for a source of supply. You are moving forward. You are plugged in. Life is coming to you easily now. You're no longer getting saddled with responsibilities of trying to get things for them. You are now getting things for yourself. You are now taking care of yourself. That is how you harm the narcissist, especially the covert narcissist. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.